How is it going, everyone? Daxellz here, and today we're checking out a new type of video, Lies You Still Believe, by the channel Be Amazed. Let's get straight into it. I can't think of any lies off the top of my head that I think that I believe, so I wonder what they're going to come up with. Let's just get straight into it.
It's no secret that the world is full of lies. In fact, there are tons of so-called facts that almost everyone still believes about anything from ancient history to the human body.
For example?
And I'm about to debunk some of the biggest fibs around.
Oh, let's go. Amaze me.
Canine coincidence. When you think about wolves, what springs to mind? A full moon, perhaps? It might be time to rethink that image because wolves don't howl at the moon at all. Hear me out. The nocturnal canines do howl as a way of communicating with each other, and sometimes the moon is full, but they have no business directing all that racket at the moon itself.
I never thought they did anyway.
Wolves mostly howl in complete darkness. It's just that we can't see them doing it. There's a couple of reasons why the whole howling at the moon idea might have stuck. Firstly, howls are more easily heard on moonlit nights because these tend to be basically windless. Secondly, our ancestors usually ventured outside more when there was a full moon because they could navigate better in the moonlight, which is probably when they mostly stumbled across howling wolf packs. Rude awakening. We've all heard this one before. You should never, ever wake a sleepwalker. Except you totally can't. That's right. There's practically no scientific or medical evidence to prove that giving your sleepwalking sibling a gentle shake is going to cause them to drop dead as a result of a heart attack or pure fright. Of course, being abruptly awoken while unconsciously brushing your teeth or attempting to get into the bathtub at 3 a.m. is enough to spook anyone, so it's probably not the nicest thing to do. Sleep experts actually recommend trying to gently guide a sleepwalker back in the direction of their own bed without fully waking them. Think of it like herding sheep, except it's your granny in her favorite nightgown. Brain sides. Remember that one girl in art class who could paint flawlessly while your portraiture looked more like melting waxwork? You probably brushed it off because she was just programmed to be more right-brained than you. Meanwhile, anyone good at math or science must have a stronger left side. Simple enough, but turns out that's all lies. It's true that the two separate hemispheres of our brain are responsible for different functions, but the idea that someone can excel in all things creative or analytical just because they have a more dominant side is total nonsense. We know this because a team of neuroscientists in 2013 analyzed the work of over 1,000 brains belonging to participants aged 7 to 29 and found no evidence that any one person relies more heavily on one side of the brain than another during daily tasks. Both hemispheres actually work in tandem and complement each other like yin and yang, meaning we're all pretty much ambidextrous when it comes to using our heads. 3-second memory.
Fair enough.
Anyone who grew up with a goldfish as a pet will know one thing.
Not 3 seconds. I think isn't it 16 seconds, right?
Not the most interesting animals. You might have even used the phrase memory of a goldfish before because of how sieve-like their brains are. People often cite the common goldfish as having a minuscule 3-second memory, but they actually have more brain power than us humans give them credit for. Various experiments have actually proven that goldfish can have a memory of up to 5 whole months.
Oh, my bad.
Researchers in Israel spent a month training young fish to associate a sound played through a loudspeaker with feeding time. After being left to their own devices for 5 months, the sound was played again, and sure enough, the fish returned for feeding. Turns out your humble goldfish isn't actually seeing the world for the first time with every new lap of the fishbowl.
Fair play to him.
No ketchup. Next time you reach for the ketchup, consider this. Your favorite condiment originally had nothing to do with tomatoes. Back in the 17th century, there was no such thing as ketchup. There were, however, plenty of Europeans rampaging through Asia and sampling all there was to eat and drink. When British invaders returned home from South Asia, there was a big sauce bottle-shaped hole in their hearts, the distant memory of ketchup, or ketchup, as it was known overseas. This distinctly savory condiment was probably something along the lines of fermented fish sauce, but no one could remember exactly what it contained. For some time, attempts to replicate ketchup included a whole cocktail of strange ingredients like walnuts, mushrooms, fish brine, garlic, anchovies, and kidney beans. Tomatoes were only eventually thrown into the mix in an 1801 recipe book by Sandy Addison. All that was left was to butcher their name and wait for Heinz to begin mass-producing the adulterated sauce in 1869. And voila! ketchup was born.
So it was an attempt to
Here
recreate.
goes.
That's crazy.
You've likely heard at some point in your life that shaving unwanted body or facial hair will only make it grow back 10 times thicker.
Yes.
But those are just the words of someone trying to sabotage you before it
Wow.
first started. Shaving has no real effect on the thickness, color, or rate of hair regrowth.
Wait, I don't know about this because when you first get facial hair, it's like really weak and not very good. I believe the first time you do it, it does actually matter. But after that, I don't think so.
Although it may seem like you've made a grave error the day after finally deciding to shave that irksome patch of hair on your forearm, there's really no need to panic. The reason hair might seem more visible as it starts growing back is simply that shaving gives hair a blunt tip, which feels coarser and can initially look thicker or darker. If hair is sprouting exponentially every time you shave, you might just be a werewolf. Nailed it. On the topic of regrowth, your fingernails don't all grow at the same rate either. If you've ever noticed that a couple of nails seem longer than others despite cutting them all at the same time, you'll probably know this already. Each nail grows at its own pace, and nails on longer fingers like the index or middle grow far quicker than those on your thumb. For the very same reason, toenails grow about 3 times slower than fingernails. So you can slack off a little longer before you start looking like the Gruffalo. Scientists actually think blood flow is what stimulates nail growth, so you might also notice that the nails on your dominant hand need trimming more often. Killer coins. Picture this.
I already
just
know
climbed
this.
to the top
Yeah,
of the
this is
Empire
not
State
real.
Building.
Yeah, I know this one.
As you watch the people below scurrying
You
around
can't throw
with tiny
coins and kill
ants,
people.
you take out your wallet and wonder, if I dropped a penny right now, would it kill someone?
Nope.
Sorry to burst your psychopathic bubble, but no, it wouldn't. Despite what people say, a penny is too small and flat and cushioned by air to become a lethal weapon, even when dropped from the top of the Empire State Building.
It can still hurt
You
someone
see,
though.
as the penny falls, it collides with air molecules, causing something called drag force, which counteracts the force of gravity and slows down its acceleration. When the two forces balance out, the penny reaches what's known as terminal velocity, and will basically flutter to the ground like a leaf. Being struck would feel like a mere flick on the forehead. Just ask psychiatrist Louis Bloomfield. In 2012, he allowed himself to be struck by pennies dispensed from floating helium balloons to replicate the effect of a penny falling from a skyscraper, and said it didn't hurt at all.
Okay, dude. I don't
Midnight
believe that.
munch. There's nothing quite as terrifying as the well-known fact that the average person consumes 8 spiders in their sleep each year.
That's
Not only
creepy,
is this
if
statement
that's true.
false,
Oh,
it's
okay.
built on a total web of lies. Firstly, logical reasoning shows that spiders are in no habit of confidently wandering into human mouths. Most people don't even sleep with their mouths open, and if they did, a wet and windy cave is hardly the first place a spider wants to be. We also sleep so restlessly that any small movement would be like an earthquake for a tiny arachnid. So where did the myth originate from?
Yeah.
Most sources refer to an article published in 1993 by journalist Lisa Birgit Holst, who cited the
Oh,
fact
damn it,
in
Lisa.
a list of urban legends. People started misquoting the article as truth,
Ah,
despite Holst clearly stating it was a myth, and the rest is history.
Okay, it's not
But
Lisa's
that's
fault.
not all. No amount of digging will turn up this article, nor the journalist who wrote it. In fact, the name Lisa Birgit Holst is a perfect anagram for the phrase, "This is a big troll."
Wow.
Seeing red.
Wow. Back then.
Here's a familiar image. A matador waves his red cape, and before you know it, steam is coming from an angry bull's ears and it's ready to charge. Why the hate, though? Do all bulls have a vendetta against the color red? Quite the opposite, actually. They can't even see it, because they don't possess the necessary red cone in their retina like us humans. The reason for their aggravation is simply the fact that someone is repeatedly waving a piece of fabric in their face, which would be
Yeah,
enough
that
to
would.
irritate anyone if you ask me.
Yeah.
Still, one question remains. Why red? Traditionally, the cape would be used to hide the matador's sword, which he would use to pierce the bull as it charges past. Red was selected because it was the best color to mask the ensuing bloodstains, and to save on dry cleaning, presumably.
That's kind of messed up. I don't know why they
Monkey
do
to
that.
man. Ah, evolution. Isn't it amazing how chimpanzees gradually straightened up and progressed through various hominid forms before arriving at the modern human we know today? It would be if that's how it happened. I know what you're thinking. But Darwin said that's what went down, right? Well, it's true that Darwin explained our close relation to primates in his groundbreaking book, The Origin of the Species, in 1859, but he never actually claimed that we descended directly from the treetop-dwelling creatures. Darwin may not have proposed such a linear progression, but he did emphasize that humans and primates both evolved from a common ape-like ancestor that lived millions of years ago, before it diverged into 2 separate species. Of course, tacky bumper stickers, t-shirts, and memes just wouldn't be the same without the oversimplified monkey to man progression you're so used to seeing. To pee or not to pee?
No, I
If you've been
thought this
stung
was
by a jellyfish on
true.
vacation, everyone knows that there's only one thing to do.
Pee on it.
Unzip your pants and pee on the sucker. Unfortunately, research from 2017 shows that this drastic action will do nothing besides attracting some unwanted attention.
So
on the
who
beach.
made this
In
up?
fact, it could
Some
make
weird
things worse.
pea
Jellyfish
person?
tentacles have millions of tiny lances embedded inside something called nematocysts, which launch stingers into your skin and let loose a stream of venom. Contrary to
Yeah.
popular belief, urine is too diluted to have any effect on removing tentacles properly, and trying to scrape them off afterwards will only cause them to become embedded further. There's only one saving grace in all this doom and gloom: vinegar. The highly concentrated stuff is the only real thing
That's
proven
gonna
to
stink.
deactivate the jelly's nematocysts, so you can safely remove the tentacles. If you remember to pack some in your beach bag, that is.
I've been stung by a jellyfish. It bloody kills.
Pyramids. If you try to cast your mind back to the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza in around 2530 BC, you'll probably conjure images of slaves working tirelessly in the hot sun and carrying more weight in stone than their backs can bear. According to Egyptologists, though, this scenario has been wrongly popularized by Hollywood movies and isn't at all historically accurate. In 1990, a tourist happened across the well-preserved tombs of those who labored on the monumental construction project. Archaeological analysis revealed that around 10,000 poor builders from the north and south of Egypt banded together out of basic loyalty to their pharaohs. Although they were free men, the work was still extremely grueling, and it likely took around 30 years to complete one pyramid. The fact that those who died during construction were buried in the tombs near the pharaoh's sacred pyramids also proves that they were well respected.
Wow, fair.
False forbidden fruit. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who'll tell you that the taboo snack that caused Adam and Eve to be eternally banished from the Garden of Eden was anything other than an apple. Nowhere in the Bible is the forbidden fruit officially identified. So how did such a humble fruit gain a reputation for bringing death and disease upon the human race? In short, a good old Latin pun. When the Bible was originally translated from Hebrew into Latin sometime in the 4th century AD, the word mali, meaning evil, was used to describe the tree of good and evil. This closely resembles the words mala or malam, which can both be translated to mean apple. In the original scripture, though, the words aren't even close. The word for evil in Genesis 2:17 is ra, while the words used for apples in Proverbs 25:11 and Song of Solomon 2:3 is tapawak. This means that the serpent basically could have offered up anything from figs to pomegranates or avocados. What a millennial twist that would be. Which of these lies did you fall for? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.
I fell for quite a few. I didn't realize how much lies have been being spread in the world. That was a really good video. Make sure you check out the original in the description down below. Okay, everyone, that is the end of the video. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you hit the like button, comment what you'd like me to react to next, subscribe if you're new or just haven't yet. I will see you in the next video. Laters.